I get in these moods every once in a while where I just want to sit down and do something really glam. And I have been trying out so many really gorgeous new makeup products recently, and they've all been in reviews and stuff. And today I didn't want to review anything. I just want to reuse some of this stuff. You guys know I love to reuse things on my channel, and I want to do something kind of glam. And honestly, the Il Makiage and Kathleen Lights eyeshadow palette is what is really exciting for me. I did more of a purple look last time, so I want to use some of these bronzy tones and just go ham. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna start with my eyeshadow primer. We're gonna start with eyes because I really want that to be a focal point, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to dip back into some of the products that I've been trying recently that I'm just really excited about. There's been some good new launches, like the Hourglass foundation as well. I've actually had a chance to wear it a couple more times since I filmed my last video. And you guys, I'm really liking it. It's definitely different than the NARS one, which is my like favorite foundation, but it's more glam. The Hourglass one is. So I'm just kind of wanting to go super airbrushed, flawless, bronzy on the eyes, all the above, you know? I'm ready for some serious makeup today. Also, we turned down my background light just a little bit, so let me know if you notice a difference, if you like it better or worse. Let us know in the comments. All right, we're gonna start off with this shade right here. This is called Later Days. I'm gonna use this as my transition. I've been using this palette like crazy as well. The glitter toppers are to die for. I've been actually wearing it on like an everyday basis, and I'll just do something simple in the crease and then use one of the lighter glitter toppers as my eyeshadow all over. Just because that feels more daytime appropriate, but I really do want to create something more sultry and see, you know, how smoky we can go with this palette. I'm gonna go right underneath that color with this one right here called Baby Cool, and I'm gonna take that on a brush, and I'm just gonna start creating definition on the outer edge of the eye. Actually, I kind of want to put this all over the lid because I am really wanting to create something smoky, and I'm gonna build up the intensity. So I am kind of focusing this in the crease a little, but I'm putting it all over the eyelid as a little bit of like a cool toned brown base. I'm going back in with the brush we were using before just to smooth out the edges a bit. I really wanted to try this bronzy shimmer shade because this is Kathleen's favorite shade in the palette. She mentioned it several times. This is called Funky Town. So I really wanted to try this out today as kind of my main lid color. So I'm just gonna pick this up on my fingertip and we're just gonna start applying this all over the lid. Ooh, that is so pretty. I'm just gonna layer this up a couple of times. And then once there's less on my fingertips, I'm just gonna kind of press it up toward the crease so that the glitter kind of trails up toward the brow, but it's mainly focused on the lid. I'm going in with that fluffy brush again, just to make sure there's no harsh lines anywhere. Okay, I do wanna deepen up the edges. So we're gonna take this cool toned dark brown right here. This is called Ladies Night, and I'm gonna take a little bit of this and just start stamping it on the very outer edge of the eye, just to add a little bit more of that depth. I'm just taking a tiny bit more of Funky Town, which was that shimmer shade, and applying it right here because I really want the most sparkle to be right here on the lid. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the brush and just make sure there's nothing that's not blended out in the crease area. All right, I'm going in with the bronze shade of the eyeliner. They don't have the name listed on the pencil, and I can't remember what this one is called, so I'll have it in the description box, but it's the bronze color. And I'm going to line the entire top lash line with this, just to add a bit more smokiness and definition. And I'm not gonna do a wing or anything like that. I just kind of extended it a little bit along the edge. I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever Professional Mascara. I've been using this too, and it's really worked well for me. So it's the double-sided mascara that I tried in a recent video. So I'm gonna use step 1 first, which is like the lengthening side. And then right after, I'm gonna switch to the second side, which is for volume. These two layered together just really work. So I'm just gonna build up the volumizing mascara right on top of that. All right, so now I'm just gonna clear away any fallout underneath the eyes. I really like the direction this is going. And as always, I like to just kind of pat down the edges so there's no harsh lines. For a primer product, I'm gonna be dipping back into the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. This, I made a whole video on like whether it was a dupe to the Charlotte Tilbury or not. Long story short, it's quite a similar dupe. Almost identical, actually. This is the shade Fair. We're just gonna apply this all over the face because I am gonna use the Hourglass foundation, which is a little bit more of a, I don't wanna say matte because it has a little glow to it, but it definitely dries down more powdery. So we're gonna add a little bit of glow underneath with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out with a brush all over the face. And it adds a little bit of coverage too, which is nice. But just like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter or Hollywood Flawless Filter, right? Yeah, that's what it's called. This adds such a pretty glow to the skin. I typically use a product like this, both the Charlotte Tilbury and now this one, as more of a primer product because I feel like it really helps just boost the skin's radiance, which shows through in the foundation at the end of the day, which I think is so pretty. Okay, we're gonna use the new Ambient Soft Glow Foundation from Hourglass. The shade that I've been wearing is 3. A little goes a long way with this. So I'm just gonna take that off the back of my hand and start to blend it into the face. And I'm just using the same brush that I was using to blend out the e.l.f. Halo Glow product because I almost want the two products to mesh together. And after that's blended into the skin with a brush, I'm just going over everything with my sponge to make sure there's 0 brush lines, but I love this foundation. I've been really enjoying it. And hopefully you can kind of tell it's a very flawless finish. Like, it claims to be more of a medium coverage, which I actually do agree with because I feel like my skin still shows through, but it looks very flawless. Like if you're familiar with the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation and how that kind of just makes you look airbrushed, really, this foundation is very similar in the sense that it gives you that same flawless airbrushed look. I'm actually going to do bronzer first, then we'll do concealer, just so we don't overdo the concealer. I'm really wanting to reuse the NARS Laguna 01 Cream Bronzer. I've been using the Charlotte Tilbury one so much, but I did really enjoy this when I used it, so I wanted to use it again. So I'm just going to pick this up with a brush. I'm just going to start mapping this out on the face, working it into the hairline a little, and under the cheekbones and the jawline. This really just blends itself out. It's so pretty. I always like to take my foundation brush and just go over the edges of my bronzer, or cream bronzer, I should say, just to make sure that the two are really seamlessly blended together. And then after I've used the brush, I always go back in with my sponge one more time to do the same. Okay, this is honestly looking so pretty on the skin. We're gonna now go into some concealer. I'm going to be using the REM Beauty Concealer, and I'm actually going to try another shade. So I used the shade Fair 9N last time, which is this one, but I want to use 6N because it has a little bit more of like a pink undertone. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this on a brush first. And I learned from trying this out last time that a little bit of this goes a long way. So I'm going to just dab that into the back of my hand, and I'm just going to start sweeping this underneath the eyes, feathering out less product down here because I made the mistake last time of kind of just over applying the product around the nose and it ended up creasing by the end of the night. So I'm just going to keep it pretty light because this offers quite a bit of coverage, as you can see. And then I'm just going to go in with my REM sponge to blend that out. You can see how much it brightened the under eye. That's a really nice shade. I actually like that one for myself since it has that little bit of pink, which I just think further helps cancel out any darkness. And especially since we're doing more of a smoky eye, I really want the under eyes to be a little bit more bright. Okay, we're gonna stick to the more flawless theme, and we're gonna use the Laura Mercier powder. This is the translucent loose setting powder, but it's the tone up version in the shade Rose, so it has a little bit of a pink tint to it, which I'm loving. So I'm just gonna take a bit of this and start setting the face, starting with the under eye area. I always make sure to pat out any creases right before going in with powder, so that way you don't lock in the creases of the concealer. And I'm setting everything, including the cream bronzer on the sides of the face, but I like to use a little less setting powder on the side of the face, so I keep most of it focused on the center. All right, we're gonna move back to complexion in a little bit, but I'm gonna use that same bronze eyeliner. We're gonna start doing the lower lash line, and I'm just gonna take that on the very outer third of the lower lash line, and I'm just gonna buff that out with a brush. All right, and then I'm gonna take the more coppery color. I remember this one is called Sunny, and I'm gonna use this right here just to create a little bit of a base along that lower lash line. So that one I only applied in like the first half, and then it kind of blends into the dark bronze about halfway across the lower lash line. All right, so next I'm gonna take the transition shade that we used on the top lid. Again, this is called Later Days. I'm gonna go right underneath those eyeliners, I almost said lip liners, eyeliners, and just start dragging a little bit more color down and smoking that out a little bit, and then buffing it out toward the edge of the eye just to blend it all together. You know, I originally was gonna do more than this, but I actually like how that looks. So I'm just gonna go into, actually, let's do an inner corner highlight really quick. I saw Kathleen use, which one was it? I think it was this one, the Copa, in her inner corner as a highlight, and it was so pretty. So I'm gonna do the same. This is a pretty glittery color. I think it makes a really gorgeous inner corner highlight with like a ton of shimmer. Like it's a really glittery inner corner highlight, but I like that. I think it really makes the eye look pop. All right, we're gonna use the same Makeup Forever mascara. I'm gonna actually still layer both steps 1 and 2 on the lower lashes. I just like the volume that it gives. All right, I'm gonna layer up a little bit of powder bronzer. I'm still really into the Jaclyn Cosmetics Vitamin D bronzer. Well, that's the shade. This is the pressed bronzer. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on top of the NARS. For highlighter, I wanted to dip into the Bobbi Brown highlight in the shade Quartz Glow. This is a little bit more of a bold highlighter. And you may know I haven't really been using powder highlights a lot lately, but I find this one to be really beautiful. So I'm just gonna kind of buff that into the skin in more of like a C shape on the high points of the face. I don't know, I really like this highlighter. I'm gonna do a little down the center of the nose as well. Now the Cupid's bow. And then for blush, I'm wanting to reach back into my Persona Cosmetics cream blushes. I layer these two like crazy. I'm gonna start off with the shade, oh, no, okay. Just a little bit, just a little bit smush, but not too crazy. Okay, that really scared me for a minute. Anyway, we're gonna pick this up on my sponge. This is like the more peachy tone. It's so beautiful. Honestly, we might just use this one. I like to take it on my sponge, kind of press it into the back of my hand, and I'm just gonna apply this to the apples of the cheeks. Yeah, I feel like this might be the only color. I usually layer in the shade Bubble, which is that kind of hot pink. But for this look, I think Teddy might be like the best situation by itself. I think it looks so pretty with the bronze eye. And I'm just pressing it right on top of where we applied the highlighter and letting it all mesh together. Yeah, I think that's pretty. I normally layer the other one, but I really like how that looks. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off any foundation on the lips. I have been wearing this lip liner nonstop since I bought it. This is from Anastasia. It's in the shade Deep Taupe, and I just love it. I think it's so pretty. So I'm just lining the lips with this, kind of blending it out with my finger a little. And then I recently tried out this Revlon matte lipstick, and I got the shade Pick Me Up. So I'm gonna apply that, and that actually looks so pretty with that lip liner. This is very glam, but this is exactly what I was hoping for. And then I'm gonna take the Essence Extreme Shine Lip Gloss, and this is in the shade Gold Dust. And I just thought this would be so pretty, applied right on top. Oh, it is. It's so pretty. Okay, this is where we're gonna assess the situation. I'm taking my powder brush and just blending in the bronzer a little bit better, especially on my forehead. And then I'm gonna kind of touch up my brows. I'm just gonna use the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil. That's what I used initially. And I just wanna make sure the outer edges of the brows especially didn't lose any definition. Okay, once that looks good, I'm gonna go in with my handy dandy Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. Or should I double set? I haven't tried that yet with this foundation. Let's double set. I'm gonna use my MAC Fix Plus first, which is a little more hydrating. So I'm gonna do that all over. I'm gonna let that dry mostly. And once it's almost dry, I take my sponge and just gently press that into the skin. And then I go in with my Charlotte Tilbury one, or a long-lasting one, right after. And same thing, let that kind of halfway dry down, and then press it into the skin with my sponge. And then I always like to take my Rimmel Stay Matte powder and just go ahead and press this into the areas that I don't want shine. And then let's set the brows with something a little more intense. This is the Patrick Ta Major Brow Lamination Gel. Since we're going glam, I really want my brows to be nice and locked in, and this is like super glue for your brows. Okay, and now we're just gonna fluff up the hair a little bit. All right, so this is the finished look. I love how it turned out. It's definitely very glam, but that's what I was going for. And I'm really, really happy that I was able to dip into some of the more bronzy tones in the Il Makiage and Kathleen Lights palette, since that's really the majority of this palette is more of those bronzy brown tones. So this is more of like a full glam look using those. I feel like there's a lot of nice everyday colors, and you could really make an everyday look using some of the matte shades, but it was fun to do something a little more bold, a little more bronzy. So I really love how this turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me reuse some of the things that I'm just really excited about. And I honestly have a lot of fun just sitting down and doing a full glam look sometimes. It's exactly what I needed today. So hopefully it inspires you to dip into your collection and kind of do something a little bit more glam, even if you don't have a special occasion or a reason to do a full face of makeup. I think it's really fun and just something different, something that switches it up, and it makes me really happy. It was really fun to do a full look and have more of like a flawless base as well. I'm really into this if you can't tell. And I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it for me today. I hope you all have an amazing day wherever you are. And I'm gonna have to figure out something to do in this makeup look, you know? I don't have anywhere to go. Maybe I'll convince my husband to go take me out to dinner, even if it's like Chick-fil-A or something. Because I'm really liking this makeup look. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.